if you're going to keep it at home, which for reasons we can discuss, I actually recommend, and not in a bank, you can't skimp on a safe.
Buy your gold and silver online from SD Bullion. New customers get gold or silver at spot by visiting sdbullion.com/new. Well, would you look at that? A rare sighting of King Richard. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And of course, Adrian's here. And the man himself, Harry, what's up?
What's up?
Hey, Harry, we did a video about a week or so ago now, maybe 2 weeks, talking to Alex because he unfortunately was robbed.
Yeah.
And it was just absolutely terrible. But I really wanted to talk to you guys about protecting your stack. Like, what can people do so that they don't get robbed?
There's a lot of do's and don'ts. I think if you're going to keep it at home, which for reasons we can discuss, I actually recommend, and not in a bank, you can't skimp on a safe.
Right.
You absolutely have to have a safe that is UL rated against theft. And UL rated against theft, to get that sticker on the safe, would require that the safe pass a test so that someone with the right tools, with the right skill, takes them at least 30 minutes of tool time, it's called, to get into that safe. Tool time means when that tool is touching the safe. The clock's not running while you're thinking about what to do, but actual tool time on the safe is 30 minutes on a UL approved burglary safe. Unfortunately, gun safes serve a good purpose for guns because they mostly keep children out of them, but they are not burglary safes, and they're relatively easy to get into versus a burglary safe. Not easy, but relative to a true UL approved burglary safe.
Well, like in Alex's case, they were in his house for over an hour.
Yeah, but again, think about that hour. We don't know if they were just common thugs or if they were truly skilled safe people. Because an hour with an amateur with power tools is not going to get you into a burglary safe.
Yeah, I agree.
We're talking about an expert with the right tools and skill. No criticism against Alex because he's the victim here. I don't care if he left it laying out on the kitchen table. That's still thievery. But if you want to know what to do, before you buy your gold and before you invest heavily in the metals, invest in a good UL-approved burglary safe.
What do you think, Adrian? I mean, obviously, you guys here at the shop, you've got some insane safes.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. What Harry's saying, it's if you're gonna spend your money on that, you never want the contents of your safe to pretty much outweigh by a huge percentage what your safe costs.
Oh, that's true.
So TL30s are usually the best safes you can buy, and they're expensive. But the thing is, if you're gonna start stacking, you want to keep your stuff at home, keep it in a good safe. Other options are safety deposit boxes. Not everybody likes those or agrees with those, but if that's your only means of keeping your stack protected, if you're not able to buy a TL30 safe, it is a good place to have it, but they are out of reach in certain times too. So there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah, I do want to talk to you about that, Harry. Like, why is it better to have at your house?
We all just lived through the COVID era, and during that time, my bank was closed for several weeks, just couldn't get in. And I got to thinking at the time, if I needed to get in there to access inventory or wealth or treasure of some sort, or even just important papers, I can't because they've locked me out. My thinking there is you got to have it somewhere, be it your home, your office, your secret hiding place, so that you always have access to it. Because when do you need it? In an emergency.
Right. What do you think, Richard? I mean, what's the best thing for people to do to protect their stack?
I'm going to agree with those guys on a good safe. Alarm the safe. Have an alarm system. If you have an alarm system that's, a distraction, imagine a thief coming in, alarms blaring, they're like, okay, I only have so much time to get in and get what I want. It's going to disorient them a little. And then it's also going to get the time for the authorities to respond and hopefully catch the thief. Another thing is don't tell anybody about this. I mean, we all like to share with people and, you know, be like, oh, this is what I do, but loose lips sink ships. You tell somebody, they tell somebody, soon half the neighborhood knows what you do. And it just takes one bad person to get wind of that and take it away from you. Another thing is, if you do keep some of your stuff in a bin, because I know that some people think that there'll be benefits to a safety deposit box, maybe split it up so not all your stuff's in one place.
Yeah, no, that is an interesting idea. I mean, I personally love the idea of splitting up your stack, you know, having some in one location, some in another location. One of my things that I advocate for is actually a little bit of midnight gardening. You bury some underground. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, it's going to be protected from fire, flood, robbery. So as long as you don't forget where it's at, I mean, it's never getting taken from you.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of touching on what Richard said too, it's like if you show people what you have or what you do, it's like us, we show our collections and so on, but you know, we don't put our families at risk. If we have anything, we have it here at the shop with a TL30 rated safe, you know, and that's a very important thing to just don't talk about it if you don't have to. I know we get excited, it's kind of like a show and tell, but at the end of the day, you know, if you're not keeping it in a safe like this, you know, just don't tell anybody.
When it comes to alarms for safes, Harry, you can buy a safe that already has an alarm built in, but are there any aftermarket ones people could get, like to put on a gun safe, for example?
These days, I'm sure there are wireless things you can get. The safe company that we use, AMSEC, you can pay to have it pre-wired for an alarm system so that if your home is alarmed and your doors are contacted and your windows and such, you can have those same connections made to your safe. You just need to order that when you order the safe so that the wiring is already in there.
Those sensors, they actually detect temperature, vibration, and tilt. So if somebody, you know, say they break in through the wall and they bypass all your other alarms, if they start drilling on that safe or heating it up, those sensors will set the alarm off.
Oh, so like if it's your neighbor on the other side of the wall coming in through the back of your safe, it'll discover that.
Yes.
Correct.
Wow.
And the thing is too, these safes, the AMSEC TL30s, are solid on all 6 sides, whereas say a gun safe might have a strong door and maybe 2 of the sides, but if someone did come through the back wall or through the ceiling, every surface of that safe, there's 6 surfaces in a rectangle like that, every surface is as secure as any other. They're all equal in strength.
I think having a good safe is a good idea. Also, if you don't have it out in the open, like if you can hide it in a back room or in some place that's a little bit harder to find, I think that'd probably be advantageous as well.
Actually, that's an interesting point you bring up, and you might wonder, well, why is ours in plain view like this?
Yeah.
When I first opened the shop, I made a decision about that. I was here alone that first year, for the most part. And I thought to myself, well, if the safe's in the back room, and there was plenty of room for it, someone could, at gunpoint, bring me back there and make me open it, and no one in our showroom windows would know what's going on. So I made the decision that if you want me to open that safe, you're going to do it in front of the public in broad daylight. And so it was a deterrent. This is not a home. And so if it's in your home, I would not have it in plain view like this.
Right.
It's a different circumstance. And also, if I may address one other security idea that people call me not infrequently about is, hey, Harry, there's this service out of Texas or wherever that I can store my gold at their company. I think that's a terrible idea. And I'll tell you, it's a terrible idea because I've known of at least 2 coin dealers, and I'm sure there's many, many more, who said they had the customer's goods in their safe, and they did not. They did something with it and went to jail for it. So unfortunately, there's no reason that you should completely trust a stranger because they offer a service to store your wealth. Because I know of these circumstances where when you went to get your wealth, it was not there.
Yeah, there was recently a big one with a IRA company who was doing self-directed IRAs, and then they were supposedly having this stuff vaulted with Brinks in Utah, and there was nothing there.
So what happens is, even people who don't entirely mean to take your things, they get in a little financial trouble and they decide to sort of borrow from your stack, fully intending maybe to replace it. But you know, when you're playing catch up like that, you never do catch up, and eventually your wealth is gone because they used it to get out of trouble themselves.
So the best thing, in your opinion, is just to keep it at home where you can access it.
100%.
Yeah. What about like alarm systems? I mean, I know that's something that pretty much everyone has these days, but if you don't have like a doorbell alarm or some type of cameras, you should probably think about getting that, yeah?
Yeah, because again, if you're a serious stacker, you want to protect the things that you work hard to accumulate. And like a good safe, an alarm system is imperative.
You know, one thing that we included to our alarm system a couple of years back was a few big dogs.
I was just about to say that. You'd be surprised what a little horse dog does for you.
Yeah, I mean, even if they're not going to bite someone, they're going to bark and you're going to hear it.
It's like, whoa, I'm not, I'll skip this house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think a couple of meat alarms is probably a good idea.
Always.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other stuff you can do too, right? I mean, you can split it up, have it different locations, have the alarms, but then of course, you're going to need your Second Amendment rights to protect your stack.
Yes, that's definitely true. But I mean, I don't think Richard could have said anything better. Just don't talk about it. Don't say that you have it. It's just put your stuff away and know that you have it.
It's a quiet asset.
Exactly.
All right. Well, I think we had some good tips in this one, yeah?
Yeah, I think good wisdom passing around here.
Well, hopefully if people have questions, they can put them in the comments section. And there's a lot of people in this community that are super knowledgeable, and I'm sure they'll have some great ideas for you.
Yeah. Be safe.